doing today?
A lot going on, man. A lot going on. A lot going on.
Yeah?
Yeah, man.
What's new since I seen you last?
Well, we, since we've been putting a lot of work into the podcast and all that stuff, Mr. Brett and I have been kind of touching up one of the back offices that we don't normally use as a actual podcast recording station. So we're kind of hitting the walls with some soundproofing stuff, and we got a whole setup and stuff. So we're just taking a step up,
Nice. Pretty good, man. That's cool.
Yep.
I appreciate that. That's pretty good.
Yeah. I was hoping to surprise you with that, but I didn't have enough time to finish it all up and stuff. But in the next couple of days, it should be.
He was in his other office. Sorry, man. I'm a little tired today.
What?
It's Wednesday, man. So for whatever reason, Wednesdays I just start to peak. And
so you get up at what time? Every day, right?
Every day at 4:30 a.m.
Yeah, that's tough. I know some of you out there probably get up that early. Believe it or not, Gloria gets up almost around there, like 4:45. She does her yoga class and then she goes to work. It's nuts, man. Hats off to her, man, and to anybody else that gets up at that time. To you, Miss Shigari, day in, day out.
It's a hard task, man. It is. When you're young, but as you get a little older and you start going, man, what it be nice to sleep until 7.
So you get up at that time because of work, correct? And you get to like a certain place that you have to be at, and then
I start work. Literally I clock in at 6, but 4:30 I get up, make my lunch, do whatever, get everything ready. I'm out the door by 5:15. Okay. Hang out over there for 15, 20 minutes. It seems like it's a long way, 4:30 to 6 a.m., but it's really not. By the time you get up, start moving around, brushing your teeth, and it's not like I'm like, woo, start the day, It's like, sit there and, think about the day, and I'm not one that I don't want to jump straight up. I like taking my time, so.
So I like to sleep, but if I'm up, I'm up. I'm like literally as soon as my feet come off the bed and touch the ground, I'm like, go.
Well, it's even on the weekends. As I start to come home and be off on the weekends, I still make myself get up early. Because if you get off track, it's even worse, and then it takes a couple days to kick back in and catch your sleep patterns, and I've been doing it for a long time. So
do you go to sleep really early?
No.
Oh, you don't?
No, that probably doesn't help either. But we teach, we do all kinds of stuff. I want to say that I'm a late night person. I was at one time. Now I'm an early bird. But if I get going with teaching and stuff like that, like last night I taught a class, I was up till almost midnight last night.
Ooh, and then you get up at 4:30 in the morning? That's tough.
4:30, man.
Yeah, I'm definitely a naturally, my clock is just, my internal clock is just set. I'm a night owl for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when I do a lot of the thinking, a lot of writing, a lot of ideas, a lot of, and honestly, part of it is that my kids are asleep. By that time, Gloria's asleep as well. And it's just quiet. And because of that, I'm able to kind of go through my thoughts. It just, you know how it is.
For sure.
I have ideas shooting down, and with the ADHD, it's magnified. And so that's a moment for me to just kind of focus on what I want to. And I write stuff down because otherwise it's too overwhelming.
Well, that's me. I have notes everywhere. I take notes with everything I do. Yeah. It looks like jumble to most people, but for me, it's just triggers and I gotta do that. I have a horrible memory. Has to do with my whole thyroid issue, but I have a horrible memory. So if I don't write it down or put it in my phone, it's bad news.
Yeah. So getting up, like I said, once I get up, I'm out, I'm going, I'm up. It's like I was awake for hours already. And then I get to it. But I definitely am a night owl. I do need my sleep. Do you nap during the day at any time?
I do. And usually when I get home, but lately I've been coming here.
Yeah.
So when I get home, I'll fall nap for like 20, 30 minutes, maybe an hour if I'm lucky.
Yeah.
And that helps, but I haven't been doing it, so it's like, actually I kind of like it because then I get more sleep at night. I go into a deeper sleep.
Okay. Yeah, I was on, what's today? Today's Wednesday. On Monday, I was here till about 2 a.m. here at the office, editing some stuff. And because this is all like a learning curve, like we spoke before, it takes me longer than it would somebody that knows how to do all this stuff, right?
Sure.
But, but it was like, I stayed here and I was satisfied because when I left, it was all done. It was edited. It was good.
Let's talk about the show. Like, we're doing this, and we're doing this because we both, like, we love podcasts. Like, or I love podcasts. I don't know about you.
I didn't know that I loved it. This is really something new, completely new for me. I started listening to some podcasts maybe a year back, but I never thought about getting in front of a mic and getting in front of the camera. This happened, really, it happened because you brought it up. I wanted to be supportive of you. And then I was like, you know what? It's a great idea. It's it can help us connect with our community, and we could do a whole bunch of stuff with it. So I jumped on board, and you know me, when I jump on board on something, when I make a decision about backing something up, it's on. It's like it's all on 110%.
So when I was a little kid, there's all kinds of dreams I had when I was a little kid of things I wanted to be. I told you, like a barber, I wanted to be this, I wanted to be a taxi driver. At one time I wanted to,
A taxi driver? Really?
Yeah, as a little kid, because when I was younger, I really wanted to drive around and see the city, and, but that's just nonsense stuff. But one of the things, as I got older, I got into communications in school when I started, media,
your son's actually really good at that.
And my son's he's got a passion for it now. But I was a big radio guy. I was into like radio. Like I loved listening.
This is the new radio, guys.
I love listening to DJs and like talk shows and just DJs in the morning and stuff. So when I was coming up, that was a big thing for me. It was big in the 90s. Think about it, like the Howard Stern show, all these different shows that were on. And I drove for a living, so I would hear
so you're listening the whole time.
All the time.
Yeah.
And then as it's progressed, now all of a sudden you got these new media outlets that you go, hey, let's buy a mic. Let's do a show. Let's get better. Let's grow. Let's do this. Hey, I'm in. Let's do it. And it's been fun for me, and I'm learning quick. And I know I'm trying to get some timing down. This
very
whole
cool.
thing.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, so this is all new to me. I've been, as you can see, like every time you come, I try to have something new in here. Like the mic, we were talking about the mic last time. Got some new editing stuff going, different types of connections and splitters and this and that. And it's just like, this is all new to me, and I'm learning it. And it's cool because it's keeping me on my toes for sure.
So we're still trying to find our voice. So what I mean by that is, this is a question I was going to ask you. What's our mission statement? What are we looking for? Right now we're kind of hit and miss on it, a little bit of everything. But I think today in this show, we're going to try to dwindle it down a little, just a little bit maybe.
Narrow it down?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Well, you know what? An aspect I do like about this, and like I mentioned before, is I like to connect with the community. I do like the aspect of when we speak about, for example, life. When I say life, it's like how we grew up, what we're doing today in the community. Yeah. Like that is a must, right? Like you have to have that.
I have crazy stories too.
Yeah,
I
so
love when I get to tell my fun stories.
Yeah, so like growing up stories, and then obviously things that are present right now in our community. When I say in our community, I mean like the martial arts community and the people here that are, in Southern California, maybe even Northern California. But that's an obvious one that has to stay there, right? The martial arts, obviously, because we're talking about headquarters. We're talking from the Black Pearl itself. Yeah. We're here, and Blackbelt Collective is a major part in our lives, and we believe that Blackbelt Collective is a major part of at least this small group that we have listening to us recently, right?
Yeah, and hopefully we'll grow a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice. Hearing you say that, because that when we talk, when we can shoot off the cuff and do everything a little bit, and but if we go on a script, we seem a little bit more, together and push in the same direction. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. But you know what? It's like everything else. I also like the genuine aspect of a conversation where it's not all planned. I do like that a bit too, because you're gonna get. There's no other way to get more sincere or more sincerity out of someone than really just having a conversation and taking a minute to sit down and listen and exchange some words, right?
Yeah. So, have you gotten any feedback from anybody?
I have actually. Obviously, we have a very small group of listeners. I think that I was looking at the numbers and stuff, and I think we had for one video we had 86, for another one 89. 89 I think is the most that the amount of people have seen. So it's a very small group, but some of the people that are really near and dear to us have been shooting me a text or I've talked to, and they think it's cool. I think the cool thing about it is that they're kind of getting to know people that they're always around, but didn't know all these little details that we give. So they're kind of oh wow, I didn't know that about you. Or I didn't know this, or maybe you should talk about this part or that or whatever. So giving us ideas and stuff. But for the most part, everybody's been very supportive, just like they always are. But some of them giving some feedback on the sound and stuff like that, hence the mic. And so I'm trying to listen and see what we can better and polish up and stuff. And it's a big project. It's a work in progress. This is going to take years for us to look back and be like, you know what, it's perfect now, or it's as close to perfect as we're going to get.
You're saying that, because then that was kind of my next question is I know where I see this going. Mm-hmm. I mean, I have a vision. I always have a vision. Where do you see
this going? I mean, I'm interested in that.
Man, I love doing this stuff. I want this to grow into something bigger, obviously. I mean, if we get a few viewers, awesome. But I want to get good at it, just because I think it's fun.
Good at it.
I think it's fun, and it's a good hobby, and it's something to do, and watch something that we can go back and look at these and go, oh, wow, man. One thing I do know, I can't stand looking at myself in camera, so when I see this, I'm like, oh, man, really? I got to step up my diet, dude. The panza is not sticking out too much.
You know what? The thing is, I don't think that anybody's watching us because of how we look, whether we're good looking or not, or any of that. I really genuinely think
that's what he thinks, because I've been told I've been looking pretty good on camera. I'm saying for me that I'm just playing.
I think that most people that are watching us have a love for martial arts, for Blackbelt Collective, and for the family atmosphere that we bring.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think that we don't have to worry too much about that. But yes, we should always get better, right? We should always be doing everything that we can better, especially if we're putting our name on it. I'm a big proponent of, if my first and last name is going on a piece of work, I'm going to do everything I can to polish it up and dial it in. And it might not be the first one, but I guarantee that every single time you watch one of these episodes, you're going to be seeing me tighten it up and polishing it up because our name's on it, right?
Yeah, I believe it, man. He's that type of guy where I'm a little more loosey-goosey. I'm a little more off the chain.
That's okay. We need that too, though.
So, yeah, it's helping me go in a good direction. So, I love it. I think it's cool.
To expand a little bit on where I see this going, because I think that's what we were talking about right now, is, we always talked about the future of Black Belt Collective, Krav Maga, and where we were going with that. And we said, our dream plan would be to have some acreage, right, somewhere nearby where we can train, continue doing the Krav Maga there, but pair it with some shooting and some other type of intensive training, simunitions, training outside, training inside. So having a ranch, right? That was the next step. And in that next step, it was including other martial artists from around the world and stuff like that. We've talked about this. We included seminars also at the ranch and in Vegas. And I really see that this ties into all of that.
Oh, yeah. So I'm big into branding. Yeah. I like as a person, you become this entity. And I think with Black Belt Collective and the group that we have, I think we can become an entity.
The people that we have behind us and around us,
vision that I see,
are awesome people that have a depth of knowledge, not only for martial arts, but for all kinds of stuff, from law enforcement to tech to philosophy to law to a lot. I mean, we really have an awesome team.
Yeah, we're a quirky group. We're definitely a quirky group. We're definitely got our own personalities and stuff. That's what I love about it. I mean, yeah.
I think that this is that X factor that's going to tie everything together. I'm just, a lot of these plans that I threw out there, it's not because, like we have unlimited resources. That's not true. Sometimes, some of these plans are so far-fetched that, sometimes my wife even tells me like,
that's funny.
You're crazy. But you know what? So what? That's where we're pointing the ship at, and we're gonna go as hard and as fast towards that as possible, and we'll figure it out on the way. Hey, when we opened up this place, we didn't know how we were gonna do it. We did it in 2 weeks, and look what this magnificent place looks like now. And what's waiting for you guys when you guys come back. We did all this together. And I believe that this podcast is going to tie all of it together.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy what happened in 2 weeks. I could never.
I had a lot of people tell me that it was impossible, but those same people that told me that it was impossible were also here helping out.
Yeah.
Sometimes we were here 2, 3, 4 in the morning.
And that last night too, guys. I wanted to kill him. So did AJ. He was like in this weird zone, man. He was a little loopy. And we were just all like...
Hey, man, that was like an 18-hour day, man.
Yeah, that was a crazy night. That was a 24-hour night.
Did we get it done?
Got it done, man.
Right.
We got it done and had our first class.
And everything we promised was there and it was delivered.
Yeah. That was pretty awesome. What are some of the podcasts you listen to? Do you listen to any
actually,
interesting?
I actually jotted some down because I didn't want to screw this up. The one that my go-to is Joe Rogan.
Oh,
and I've been listening to that for a long time. I know it's all popular right now and all that, but I genuinely been listening to it for a little while now. And very very familiar with their format and what they talk about. And I find it extremely interesting, right? So that's one of them. But there's some other more obscure ones that I really enjoy. And it might give you guys an insight to like how my brain works or what I'm interested in. So I'm just going to name them off and then I'll put them on the bottom of the thing so you guys can click on them or whatever. So Joe Rogan's one. Sean Carroll's Mindscape. They talk about AI, space, dark matter, quantum physics.
You're not the only one I've ever heard that stuff.
Yeah. I love it. It just fascinates me. I have this kind of ongoing thing that like for the last 20 years that I've told my family, my wife and stuff. And I share with AJ quite often. Is that when I go away from this earth, I'm gonna ask God, hey man, do you mind if I take a peek and I go through a black hole? And it's just such a weird request, but there's so many theories about black holes and all this stuff, and it just drives me nuts. I want to know, So, anyways, that's kind of quirky. But the other one is Philosophize This, and the last one is Naval. It's seeking wealth, business, etc. It talks about like how to focus on a business, but not focus on the money, not focus on the status, but focus on the wealth, meaning like on the important things, and then all that stuff comes. So I'm a big proponent of that. That's kind of how I run my life and my business, and so those are some for you guys to check out. Really cool ones.
I'm quite different than you when it comes to podcasts or video cast, whatever you want to call it. Bert Kreischer, comedian. I listen to his podcast.
Well, I get a lot of that from Joe Rogan because he invites a lot
of
comedians on.
I do watch Joe Rogan, but at times sometimes it gets going a little crazy in different directions and conspiracy theories, so I'm not into that. But I do like Joe Rogan. I like him. Yeah. Bert Kreischer, comedian. He has like 3 or 4. He does so many podcasts.
Oh, really?
Yeah, ridiculous. Okay. He does some with somebody, and then he does one by himself. So he's good. Tiger Belly with Bobby Lee. Him and his girlfriend do a podcast. Hilarious. It's
What's that about?
Him and his girlfriend and all the comedians that he's worked with. I love comedians. So do that. Bill Blur has a couple podcasts as well. Different ones. Just look up Bill Blur. He's there. But I'm also into empowerment. I got into empowerment the last few years. I know it sounds salesman-ishy.
Do you mean empowerment as in like personal?
Personal belief, personal motivational speakers. And so like Ed Milet, I'm going to put your name on there because I want you to hopefully watch this. Ed Milet out of Laguna. The guy is a multi-millionaire entrepreneur. Love his stories and he's always got good guests.
Cool.
Eric the Preacher. If you don't know who Eric the Preacher is, love that guy.
You've actually sent me quite a bit of stuff.
Yeah. Love that guy. And, there's a couple couple other ones, but those are the ones that are constantly on a loop.
What do you get from that?
I get a lot from the personal stuff. When I was younger, I'd always be like, I don't want to be a salesman. It sounds like a salesman type thing. As I got older, I found it just kind of enlightening to give yourself a little bit of affirmation that hey, it's okay to hustle and grind.
Absolutely.
And it's okay to, put yourself out there. It's okay to make mistakes. And, when you're younger, you don't think that way, And unfortunately, a lot of the entrepreneurial stuff, there's a lot of that. Hey, it's okay to fail. It's okay. And they do a good job at like, hey, empower. But you don't get that other directions and other ways in life. And so when I started hearing that, that's a huge thing.
Yeah, because you think about it, a person that's successful has probably gotten more no's than anybody that's ever not done anything.
Every entrepreneur that I've heard on a podcast says they failed several times. Gary Garvey, same thing. I like him just because of his background. Good one too.
What?
He's an entrepreneur, but he loves talking to like millennials.
Oh, okay.
So but when you listen to it, you can get a lot back and learn about a different generation.
Yeah, very cool.
So yeah, I don't like getting old. I'm not a guy who's gonna age well. I can't stand it. I'm not a big, I hate to say it. People who get older, I tend to pull back from them. I just, something about getting old, it's a fear or something. I don't know. I'm going through it right now.
You know what? I'm okay with my mortality. I'm okay with aging. What I'm not okay with is knowing that I'm aging and I'm not doing.
Maybe that's what it is for me.
I'm not doing I think that's
why I kind of started watching all those. It's like, hey man, I need to get going.
I can't remember who told me the other day. Hey, Abel, we had just finished something. Or you should head home, get some rest or whatever, And that's cool and all. Obviously, we have to balance, right? We talk about balance in life, right? And you have to balance. But if it's work hours, like if I have it in my schedule where my family knows that I'm at work hours or whatever, like I'm working, I might take a 15-minute, maybe 30-minute rest, even a nap. I use that sofa sometimes, take a nap, 30 minutes, and then, man, I'm ready to go for another 8 hours,
I've seen it, but it's like 2 hour nap.
And I'm ready to go for like another work day. And no joke, I do it. And I'm okay with that. But those are hours that I'm expected to be here working. So if I get to leave early, like let's say I finish something and then I still got like 2 or 3 hours, like I'm not used to leaving.
Yeah.
I'll work on something else. Like there's always something to do if you own a
You
business.
got a good grind, man.
There's always something to do. And you know what? I think I had posted it or shared it or something. I put like something like outwork them. Like outwork. And because you know what? People aren't consistent with that. And if you put 1 hour, let's not even say 5 or 6 hours, right? Let's say 1 hour. Every single day, 1 hour. With the exception of maybe like Saturday and Sunday, or with the exception of Sunday, where you're hanging out with the family. But just Monday through Friday or Monday through Saturday, 1 extra hour doing something that you know you're supposed to be doing and not leave it for the next day. And you project that over a year, over 5 years, over 10 years. We're not only talking about you getting stuff done, we're talking about incremental growth on your mind, in your pocket, your bank account, in your business, in the community that you're touching. Like, it's massive, massive changes.
Agreed, man. It's totally different. I'm in a job that I've been doing it for years, and it's like old hand. I want to do something totally different. Yeah, we've talked about that. But this helps me when I listen to something, or just talk to you, or just talk to somebody who thinks that same way. Like, hey, let's grind, let's get it going, let's do it. I come here and I'm like, let's do it, let's get a class in, let's do it.
I'll be honest with you though, but I do respect, I respect what you do. It takes a lot to know that that you're gonna do it all over again. You're gonna wake up at 4:30 in the morning, and then you're gonna. It's your own grind. It's just a different type of grind.
It's just a different type of grind.
But I respect that too, because the requirement for that, the consistency for that, the attention to that detail every single day. I mean, that's not easy, man. That's not easy. So hats off to you too, and to anybody else that works. Even if it's a 9 to 5, but you know that you're going to be grinding all, like, I mean, it's you're waking up every single day. You have to be consistent with that too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. It's one of those things. Also, it's good to learn. It's just good to have a healthy mind. You know,
Absolutely.
And if you're not reading, if you're not listening to podcasts, if you're not, it becomes mush up here, man. So, and for me especially, it's easily with all my hormonal problems. You know, with the thyroid.
So the thyroid causes.
Yeah, so no thyroid, no hormones actively moving. So thyroid's almost like your brain's your computer. This is your server that tells everything to go out and where to go. So when that happens, I have absolutely, everybody talks about metabolism.
You had that removed?
Totally removed. Thyroid cancer. That was
from the cancer.
Stage 4 thyroid cancer. But what that does is that takes away your hormone intake, hormone output. It takes away your, kind of your drive. It almost, you go into, it's called hypothyroidism, and you're just constantly in a state of fatigue.
Okay.
And then no metabolism. I've had people go, no, you have a metabolism. No. When they take that out, that's part of your thyroid. Your metabolism is gone. So I have no metabolism. So
I'm assuming there's like medications and stuff that you have.
So yeah, I'm on a lot of medication for all that stuff, hormones, and
that's not a choice. You have to because of the thyroid.
Yeah, I have to. I can't. I have to live with it for the rest of my life. Without that, then it could have problem with my spleen, my kidneys could shut down. That's everything. All your stuff goes through that thyroid. Computer, server. Your head goes here and it goes out and it sends to other things. So without that, yeah, it's a must. It's hard on learning. It's hard on memory. You don't sleep well. And I have also other issues with my throat. Yeah, so there's a lot of little things.
So listen, look how blessed we are. It's a beautiful thing that we have you sitting here with us, speaking to us through the podcast, right? I mean, it's just maybe something, like if it was anybody else, they might not even show up because they're like, my throat's going to be hurting.
And thanks to Brett for the tea.
Yeah, keeps it nice and
keeps my
yeah. So
nice
so it's pretty cool to have you on here, and I just admire that. I admire that greatly. The grit. I love that.
But I don't. To me, I don't feel that.
I know, but it's so cool. I mean, really, listen to your story. Like literally, listen to your own story. It's awesome.
Yeah, and that goes back. I always talk about my childhood. It goes back to my childhood, and that's my mother just hit me in the back of the head and saying, stop making an excuse. That's just an excuse. Yeah. And I don't want it to sound like that. A lot of this I want to say because I feel I can help somebody out who is going through the same issues. When you have cancer, you go through a lot of those same issues with fatigue and stuff like that. Yeah. So yeah, I was cut open from here to here. So for those of you who don't know, that's why my throat is raspy, and I had a tracheotomy done. My vocal cords finally had come back, got it taken out, and but it left my vocal cords very weak. So sometimes I can sound natural and good, and then other times I get a little squeaky. So
it's not squeaky. You know what?
Sexy.
It's actually kind of cool.
You're right. It's sexy.
It's actually kind of cool because you could. I can hear the pain in your voice, and I like that. It's like,
Yeah, it's annoying.
I like it.
Okay, let's move on, man. Little off track, but let's move on to so I want to talk about self-defense, but a little different. We always talk about awareness, and we always talk about knowing where you're at, who you're with. We're in a whole new ballgame right now with a pandemic, So self-awareness and social distancing, I think they actually go hand in hand. But what do you think? What do you think about the social distancing, wearing a mask when you go out in public? And the reason why I'm asking this, I'm not looking for a political view, or I'm not looking, because I honestly think that as this goes on, we're headed down to some issues where we need to protect ourselves.
Absolutely.
We're going to need to learn to be aware.
Yeah, I mean, listen, like in any self-defense situation, you have to analyze what's going on. Sometimes you get a split second. Sometimes you have more time. In this case, we have some time to analyze this.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like the danger is here at our throat and we got to shell and defend. We have a minute or two to think about this and analyze data and talk to other experts and share information. What I've concluded is that it's smart to put your mask on. I mean, it really is. Today I went to drop off one of our televisions that was giving us some issues. And, I was driving. I didn't have it on while I was driving. But, I parked. Before I parked, put it on. Boom, boom. Opened up the door. Unloaded the TV. The guy who came to receive it had one on too. Dropped it off. Thank you very much. Got back in my car. Took it off. Put it in a little separate, kind of like a baggie that I use for the washer. And that's it. It's that simple, guys. It doesn't mean you have to wear it every minute of the day, every second of the day. It just means that you're going to be aware of where you're at, where you're going. And if you're outside of your home, right? Or in my case, my second home, if you're outside of there, if I'm going to the store or anything like that, even out of respect for other people, I'm going to put that on. And it's only going to be a very small fraction of the day. I come back home or I come back here and I take it off again. And I'm okay. Like, it's just being smart and picking and choosing where your battles are going to be.
I agree with that 100%. Yeah, I get it. Putting on the mask, it's difficult. I have trouble breathing. I'm a mouth breather, so when I have a mask on, it's hard.
Hey, man, I have a deviated septum.
Same
I haven't
here.
been able to use it since I was a child. My nose, it's like... That's why you guys hear my voice. I always sound very nasally.
Yeah.
Oh, man, since I was a child, I can,
It fogs on my glasses. And,
yeah, it's
so
very uncomfortable.
It's uncomfortable, but I'm willing to do it. Get back to business. We'll do what we got to do. If we got to wear a rubber outfit and so we can do Krav, man, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, we'll find them. We'll provide them.
True story. I go home last night right after my class, and she goes, my wife, Gabby, says,
"Hey, Gabby,
I watched your little video podcast with Abel."
Uh-oh.
So
which one?
So my wife she's you gotta know her. She shares her opinion with me especially.
Which episode did she watch?
The most recent one.
Okay.
So then she goes, yeah, I'm kind of mad at you. And I was like, oh man, what did I do? I haven't been talking about her, and I've been trying to stay away.
Wow.
And she said, because we're not social distancing.
This is about 6 feet right here.
Yeah, that's what I said. But she was like, you don't have a mask on. Oh yeah, she went through the whole thing. She works with seniors and a lot of different things, so she's constantly, it's in her head.
So where's your mask now?
It's in my car.
See, if I knew it was an issue with you, Gabby, I promise you I would have it on right now. He didn't tell me before I hit record. Otherwise, it'd be on right now.
It's all right, man. It's okay. Anyways, I just thought people would enjoy that story because there's so many intricate things that go on with this, By the way, I'm really not exaggerating. It's about 6 feet. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. It is about 6 feet. Reason why I brought this up because I just... No, because I'm out and about. I did shopping for a house.
If you have any black eyes, man, I know what happened.
I know,
now.
man. She's a strong woman. Now you got me all in my head, man.
Grocery shopping.
I do all the grocery shopping. I've seen a lot of just angry people out there.
Oh, yeah.
I work for a city. I work in the government. I see a lot of angry people towards the government, towards the city, towards local government, state, everything. And the reason why I brought it up is wear the mask, do what they're asking you to do so we can live our lives. But as far as like self-defense, awareness, 6 feet. This is a good measure. If you're feeling uncomfortable with somebody, this is a good measurement to start understanding keeping your distance. Social distancing isn't a bad thing. I'm actually really happy about it because we live in Southern California. There's no social distancing whatsoever, and we have crowds everywhere. Maybe we back people off a little bit, and it gets a little less angry, a little less, a
little less irritation. Because in Southern California culture,
other cultures, it's okay to be right here, elbow to elbow, shoulder to shoulder. Southern California, not so much, man. Not so much.
As a matter of fact, you bump someone the wrong way or anything, even if you say sorry.
Yeah, and it becomes a whole thing. Yeah. And so social distancing is not a bad thing. Being aware of somebody who's agitated and having 6 feet between you.
It's a good thing.
It's a great thing. Mm-hmm. As an instructor, as somebody who lives my life to thinks like this, I love it. It gives me time to prepare. It gives me time to say, hey, stay away. I don't want to deal with you. Gives me time to back up and get out of there if I need to. Yep. I've thought about this, and I think right now this is kind of a reset on what, however you want to look at it. But it's going to give us an opportunity to see things like this.
Yeah, Mr. Dong did a real short video for us, and it was really awesome because he was giving some insight on during the pandemic, if you're outside, you really don't want to go hands-on, what do you do?
Yeah.
Right? So he gave some good pointers. That's on Kicksite. He gives some good pointers about that and what to do and how to create that distance instead of going hands-on and putting hands on someone. If you're putting hands on someone, you're close enough to breathe on each other or spit on each other or whatever, you know what I mean? So he goes into that in a little bit of detail, and that's a great point that you bring up. The 6 feet is not bad.
And it's just this whole social thing with the masks. Masks aren't even bad for you as well. Not being able to see your expression, not being able to hear, somebody might not hear you under your breath say, oh, what a jerk, or because that stuff ignites stuff, right? And now we have masks. People can only see so much, and it really kind of like, if you look at people are watching each other right now. Even people who don't have masks on and aren't believers, like, oh, they're even like, why are you looking at me? But everybody's doing this now. Look at where we're at. Yeah, social distancing. Everybody's doing that. And that's a good thing. I think it's a really good thing. It's just, it gives everybody some space. A little space to be aware. When something starts popping off, you can tell a lot sooner than if it
Absolutely. It gives you more time to react. Yep.
Yeah, you answered all those questions. So,
hey man, I'm here to please. You ask a question, I answer it.
I gotta stop hitting the table. So, Abel got mad at me for hitting the table. So.
It's so hard to edit. Oh my gosh.
So I think if you go back, that'll be the only one I did. I didn't mean to. It's consciously.
Hey, every day. At least he's working on it. You see that?
Consciously in my head right now. Okay. Random questions from me.
Shoot from the hip.
Shooting from the hip. Dude, have you seen that video? Oh, I almost did it again. See that?
Which one?
Mike Tyson.
Oh my god.
Doing pad work.
They also shows a before and after picture. They show like 6 months back or whatever, and then they show him now.
Yeah.
Looks like a beast, man.
So I told you the story. We met him at Comic-Con. Super, 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 super sweet guy. Talked to us for a little bit. But he was real thick. And I saw him in that video, and I was like, oh my goodness. That guy is in shape right now.
Oh, yeah, man. That's
he's
going to fight Briggs, I believe.
Yeah, Shannon Briggs.
Yeah, and, man, that's going to be interesting.
I love it. I think he's going to knock Briggs out because Briggs has a glass jaw anyway, so.
I just think that, I don't know if it's necessary, you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing obviously it's for charity and all that, but man, we know Tyson, and we know that if he's in the ring, it's like unleashing the lion or the tiger. It's just
what's scary is I think it was late yesterday. Evander Holyfield said that he's looking to do a fight too now. So there could be a rematch in the works down the road, man. Maybe another ear, maybe body part.
Listen, I enjoy seeing Tyson at his peak again. I enjoy seeing him reawoken. I enjoy that he is probably benefiting from it, not only like health-wise and mentally and financially. Like, I enjoy all that stuff. I would hate to have our legend hurt because the age is not the same. It's just not.
He's 53.
Not to say that he can't defend him. I mean, he can clearly destroy somebody.
Yeah.
But you're also older, and if you get hit in a certain way or whatever, and
I think it was George Foreman who was saying, "Don't do it." Mm-hmm. He wishes now he didn't come back in his 40s.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And he's 53 now.
Yeah, George Foreman was something else too, man.
George Foreman was unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. 7 kids named George too. What the heck is going on there?
But yeah, so Tyson, yeah, man. He is looking crisp.
So I don't know what you were doing, man. I was texting you and I was trying to get your reaction to the fights over the weekend. Did you see any of the fights over the weekend?
Over the weekend, I didn't watch the fights because I was actually working on podcast stuff and Zoom stuff and work stuff. So, no, I didn't get to have any free time, Gary.
Dang. I watched every fight from the prelims all the way to the end.
I'm glad that you enjoyed it.
And I told you everything that happened, so I was really happy. But Gaethje, unbelievable fighter, man. I could not believe that. The damage he did on Ferguson was
I heard that Ferguson actually had some orbital damage.
So first 2 rounds.
Guys, for whoever doesn't know out there, we're talking about the UFC fights that were on Saturday, this past Saturday.
Yeah, this past Saturday.
First off, it's kind of crazy that the UFC is even having fights, right?
It is crazy.
Is it the only sport right now that's active?
Other than Korean baseball.
Really?
Yeah, that's the only...
I mean, that's kind of a big deal, right? When we look back at this, maybe 5 years from now, 10 years from now.
I think in the next 2 weekends, they proposed golf to get back on TV, and then I think baseball.
But golf is so easy to space out.
Yeah, same with baseball.
That's easy,
baseball,
man.
Baseball,
pretty easy.
What's sad is what's coming up here is like I'm a football guy, and I've taught all the way up to high school level, and what's coming up here is we miss spring football for all the kids, high schoolers out there, and college guys. We miss spring football, but summer football and summer camps are all coming up. So what do you do there? Do you prepare for a season? Do you not? Are they gonna not be back in school next year? Colleges, to me, it's a big thing. My son played college sports. You miss a year, you miss eligibility.
Yikes.
You only have they call it the clock. So you only have so many years of eligibility you have. Now, hopefully they would say everybody gets an extra year. But there's a good chance, everybody right now, think about all the seniors right now in college and in high school who played their sports and weren't able to play. So I know a lot of women's softball players, and think about it. Their senior year this year, what was going to happen? Their senior year, boom. There's no professional sports after that for them. They're done.
Wow.
And the Olympics was coming, and now no Olympics. So that would be their professional sport. For some of these ladies, time is ticking.
I see.
They're moving on with their lives and whatever. You can only be 25 for so long, So, I mean, it's a crazy thing with sports, but it's a good thing, I think, too, because you can't put all your eggs in one basket.
Yep,
right?
you have to have
right. That's
some diversity in there in what you're doing. I mean, think about what we did to pivot.
Yeah.
We had life classes. Obviously, that's what we lived off of. That's what we do. We teach martial arts on a one-on-one basis, right? We've included so much since then. Since then, we've included video library, means pre-recorded classes and curriculum. Sure. That's one. We've included live classes on Zoom, right? So live classes multiple times a week and multiple times a day. We've also included a podcast, right? We're thinking of expanding all of those that I just mentioned in different ways, so that we put an added value to our members and our community. So what you're saying about diversification is true. It's not just true for people playing sports. It's true for everybody, even for us in real life. You have to be able to be like water. Yeah. Yes, Bruce Lee said it best: "Be like water." And he said that because you have to be able to move. You have to be able to become something else, and then maybe even blend into different areas of other things that you never thought you would do, but you have to do it because you have all your eggs in one basket.
And I think that's the cool thing that we're going to see here. I think we're going to see different ways of seeing live events and different ways of live events happening.
Or even different ways of enhancing your training. Because, think about this. So let's say that you guys at home, if you were going to go on vacation, okay, and you weren't going to be able to come to CRAW for a week or two, we'd say, okay, you're going to have to do a makeup test, or you're going to have to make up your classes or whatever. Now, our library is growing so big and so vast and with so much detail to attention that next time maybe you go on vacation, you don't skip a beat. All you do is log in, you do a live class, or you do a video recorded class. You still get credit. You come back. You didn't miss a beat. We still covered the same material on your vacation that we did here, and that's an added bonus.
I agree.
You know?
I agree.
And so I'm sure that other sports and other types of businesses and all that, we're all finding different ways to still be there and provide something valuable for the people that follow us.
When this was happening, I'm sure there's a lot of fear, a lot of like questions.
You mean regarding the pandemic?
Pandemic and not being able to have people here teaching and being able to have a hands-on approach with teaching. I think it's made me, after doing my first Zoom class, I wrote down a bunch of things that I'm like, I need to get up on my curriculum. I need to get better with my curriculum. I need to start doing my own curriculum. I need to, to make myself so when I go on camera, I don't have these little...
Even explaining things
differently
or better or in more detail, you have to be able to use and articulate, right? You have to use your words because maybe the same angles aren't there. I mean, even though we try to do, like one angle and then turn and do the other angle so they could see everything, it's not the same.
Yeah.
And you have to be able to explain that, right? So it's kind of like polishing up on all that stuff that we already knew, but we have to polish it up and put it in use.
You get to see it and you get to feel it a little bit, like when you first started teaching. It was like that first time where you're just like...
Oh, man.
I felt that when I first did it last night. I was kind of like, whew, there's that adrenaline. I hadn't had that one in a while. Yeah. Okay, I got to remember my quotes and different things.
Well, it's about being outside your comfort zone. That just means we're growing. It means we're polishing up. It means we're tightening up on those little things. It's all right, It's part of it. I spoke to one of our members today, and she sent me a text. And she goes, something's up with the sound a little bit, with the music and the sound. And so, I told her, we upgraded to AirPods, a little bit more expensive, but they do provide better sound. So I was like, so I'm already working on that, but thank you for the feedback. And she gave me some other feedback and stuff. And it's awesome because at least I know that they care and that they're joining in on classes and stuff to be able to give us this feedback. So everything we're doing right now, all this stuff, all this new stuff that we're doing, I'm telling you, man, by the time everybody comes back on, it's going to be so tightened up and we're going to continue offering that stuff. So if someone goes on vacation or someone does this or that or whatever, wherever you're at, you're able to do some Krav Maga, you're able to do some martial arts, you're able to learn something.
Yeah. So, first class, we're back in the studio. First class, you're here. What's your dream situation as you see this open up again?
Dream situation, not reality.
Not reality, because reality sucks. We know what reality's going to be. Slow and low. And
my dream situation is that we'd have the second story done already, with the parent lounge and the viewing area and the dressing area, the locker room area, and then the student lounge area, for them to do their homework and all that. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, our offices have a second floor. It's just not made for it's not prepared for a second level for a lot of people to be on it, but we could easily fix that. And there was already plans on the way, thanks to Mr. AJ and a group of people, to create that second floor and do all the stuff that I just mentioned. But if it was a dream world dream scenario, that's what it would be. That'd be ready to go. The parents can be up there as soon as everybody came up. People would be at the parent lounge. Kids would be doing some homework at the student lounge. We'd have the dressing area and all that stuff and the viewing area up there. And everybody would be here, training. I mean, we'd have packed classes again. We'd have all our instructors back. We'd be doubling and tripling up on those classes with instructors because we have 31 instructors, guys. 31. That's enough to double and triple up on all our classes. And we just give that one-on-one attention and just loving our members, man, that have been supporting us through this. Our members that frankly don't quit, man. You guys are the reason why we could still do this.